Like this show and want to make your own? Let me tell you about Anchor. It's free, and they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And now you can even add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless for what you can create, whether it's music analysis, your own radio show, or something the world's never heard before. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hi, and welcome to the Vocal Fries Podcast, the podcast about linguistic discrimination.
I'm Carrie Gillen.
I'm Megan Figueroa. It's been a hot second, and I almost forgot how we start this. But I got it.
It's been a bit.
It's been a bit.
Life has gotten in the way.
Life's gotten in the way, COVID's gotten in the way, my dogs have gotten in the way. I guess they're part of life, but yeah, everything comes crumbling down sometimes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I still think it's impressive that we've done so many episodes during COVID.
That's true. We've gotten down to about one a month, and I think that's probably where we're going to stay for a little bit because I'm moving, I got a new job.
We're trying to write a book.
We're trying to write a book. It's just going to probably be too much to do more than once a month for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and it's hard to get our guests, too. I mean, people are busy or people just can't. They cannot, so we totally understand. But still look forward to some really exciting upcoming episodes. We have some great guest ideas, and we'll be having some good stuff in the upcoming year. Of course, if anyone has a topic that they want us to address, they should really tweet at us or send us an email.
For sure.
And we just recorded our bonus episode for November, and we were talking about Sia. So if y'all want access to our bonus episodes, it's actually a great time to join on Patreon because, since we're only having about one episode a month, you can listen to all of our back bonus episodes.
Yes, and there are a fair number of them. I don't remember exactly how many, but
yeah,
more than 24, I think.
Yeah, so if you've been missing this vocal fry, then that's a way to get access to it.
Yeah. Yes. So if you want access, it's at www.patreon.com/vocalfriespod. And that's at the $5 a month level. You get all the bonus episodes and a sticker.
And can you gift Patreon things for people?
Not that I'm aware of, but maybe.
Oh, Christmas is coming, or whatever you celebrate, Hanukkah, other holidays, or if you're boycotting.
Other holidays. Only Christianity and Judaism counts.
I know. It's so bad. I'm not even either one of those. And I'm like, here we are, though.
I mean, solstice is like...
Festivus?
That's the real reason for the season.
Reason for the season.
Festivus, Kwanzaa.
Anything, and you, I don't know, want to gift something. We have a great mug, too. I'll put some links up. And I also made a new notebook that you can buy on Redbubble. It says, "Language changes, don't be an asshole." And I think it's very cool. And you can get it in any color. Just let me know. Right now, it's just black and white. It's just straight up
Not even our colors?
That's coming. Okay, Carrie, life is hard.
We have a brand.
I know. We'll have a red and a yellow one soon. And someone else wanted a dark, like a navy and a white. So those, at least 3 will be a thing, but let me know. Let Megan know, in case you still don't know our voices. Let Megan know which color combos you want. I think it's a pretty cool notebook.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah. It would have been a cool notebook if it just said language changes. But it says don't be an asshole, so...
No, that's important.
It's on brand. Except that I didn't do red and yellow because my brain can only handle so much. I was joking with Carrie earlier that we're going to be an international podcast soon with her going back to Canada. I guess that's maybe more exciting in my head than it is in reality. But
I mean, yeah, the whole time we've done this, it's been long distance, except I guess a couple times you've been up here to record, but It's just going to be slightly longer distance, and it won't really make any functional difference.
It won't make functional difference. I've gotten used to not seeing you in person because of COVID, but it still makes me sad to think that you'll be so far away.
It's okay, though. It's been weird because, it's been how many months now? 10 months? Well, at least 9.
Yeah.
It's been 9 months, basically, since you could really just be normal.
Yeah.
And we probably should have shut down earlier than that because COVID was all throughout most of our communities and we just didn't even know.
Yeah.
But anyway, we didn't know. So
you didn't know.
So anyway, it's been a long time since we've been, behaving like like we normally did back in the day.
I know.
And it means that moving, it seems like less of a big deal because it's not like I see people very often.
No,
I know.
Now
that it's nice out.
Yeah.
I have seen some people outside because it's much, much safer to be outside.
Right.
With a mask, obviously, but still.
Right. But it's still a trick, Carrie. It's still a trick. I'm going to be really sad when I can finally go back to Phoenix or, travel and see people. I know. I'm not going to go there anymore, actually. I'm just going to have my parents come here. What's left in Phoenix? Nothing. So, anyway, goodbye, Phoenix. Goodbye. I've been thinking about cults a lot, lately because of Nexium and the leader just getting his sentencing and all of that.
Apparently there's an even better show about it that focuses on India?
Yes, Seduced or something like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. But...
Yeah, I've heard people say that because apparently, the one that's on HBO that everyone's is the most boring thing ever leaves out so many terrible things. It's kind of I was already, when I'm watching it, I'm trying to have sympathy or empathize at all with these people that seem to be well-to-do and got into this cult. And I'm I'm having a hard time, but also cult, the manipulation is, gaslighting. It's really just terrible stuff. But apparently, in Seduced, you can see all of, the warning signs even more, or, how disgusting Keith Raniere was more.
I mean, yes, but does that negate the fact that they were all brainwashed?
Brainwashed, yeah.
No.
I know.
It doesn't.
I think I've joked, and it's not really, it's not fair to me to joke, but I think I have joked about how, the right woman at, if I were, 19 and 20 could have gotten me to join a cult, because that was, a very vulnerable time.
Yeah, it's extremely vulnerable for almost everybody.
Yeah, so, I mean, I do get that, because would have loved some guidance at that age. And purpose.
Same, but I was also very skeptical.
Yeah, I'm naive. Still am, so...
I mean, I was definitely naive, and I would say I'm maybe a lot less naive now, but it's still, I was still very naive, but I was still also very, suspicious of people. So, for example, there would be, Christian clubs on campus who would try and get me to talk to them, and I was just oh, no, I'm,
yeah.
I don't need whatever you're selling.
Right.
And I would run away, and
right.
It's, so I was also very scared of being somehow sucked into a cult. That was one of my number one fears, which is a kind of bizarre fear to have. But I did have it. So. Wow. So I probably was not that susceptible.
No, probably not. I was not actively thinking about cults, So I probably I
don't know why. It's not like cults were part of the zeitgeist really at the time. I really don't know.
Yeah. And now you just survived the satanic panic. Maybe you were
No, I mean, yes, but I didn't know.
Too young.
In the mid-90s, the satanic panic was not fully, absorbed and understood.
Right. I mean, they're still trying to understand all the ways it went wrong. I mean, we have a better picture, but... Did you know that this is a true crime podcast now?
Yes. Well, you know that I'm obsessed with cults and true crime.
Oh, me too.
Maybe less true crime these days, but definitely still cults. And there's linguistic stuff going on, and I would love to have someone come on and talk about cults from a linguistic point of view.
Please, is there that person? There's some very important gaps in our linguistic knowledge, and I think that might be one of them. But if anyone out there...
Oh, it's huge for me. Even though I'm obsessed with them, I still don't really understand the linguistic side of it.
Forensic linguists, too. I want to get more into that, because it would be nice. I think that what we do is important and practical, but I think a lot of people still don't see how practical linguistics is. So if we could have some, forensic linguists, where it's, undeniably practical, that would be nice. For a wider audience. So when we talked to Dr. Marianne Mason about the read technique and interviewing suspects, I think it's really important because, I mean, I didn't know about all of that. I suspected that there were some, bad shit going on during questioning of suspects, but to kind of learn from an expert on how language fits into this picture and how we're basically taking people's rights away with linguistics. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, anyone that studies that kind of stuff, don't think that you aren't relevant to this podcast. We would love to talk more about that.
Yeah. Anyway, I think you have something you wanted to talk about that's actually 100% related to our podcast.
Yes, it is. So I, as I tend to do, got mad at something. Yamiche Alcindor is a White House correspondent, and she is fantastic. And
yes, she is.
Let's listen to it.
Been President Trump selling this idea that there's a deep state conspiracy theory against him, that he's the number one victim in America. So if he gets indicted, if he even goes to jail, he might sell that idea to the millions of people who voted for him, and he might become even more powerful. And that's what the GOP is really scared about. That's why you're seeing not that many people stand up to him.
It's unbelievable on every level. A correspondent who can't speak in a grammatically correct sentence, A. B, the dishonesty of it. Framing this as another clever conspiracy by Donald Trump.
So it's really hard to watch and to listen to because it's so racist. It's so disgusting. I shouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised. It's just always hard to watch these things and to hear these things. To say that Yamiche can't speak in grammatically correct sentences. So I listened to her several times and I have no idea what he's picking up on anyway. For one thing, I'm like, everything that she said, like, if we're gonna really do this, was grammatically correct in like mainstream white English even. Like, I don't know what you're talking about here.
Yeah, like, of all the standard language ideologies that you could have,
yeah, she meets them, and that's another point of why this is so disgusting, is because of course this double bind that we put black people in, but of course it's always worse for women, black women, where for them to succeed, we've said that they have to fit this standard language ideology, which is mainstream white English. She does, and yet this white asshole, racist asshole, still says that she cannot speak in grammatically correct sentences. She is still not passing the linguistic test because she's black. Like we always said, it's always a proxy. I mean, it's what she said to both of our ears is like, what? Isn't that what, we expect of everyone to, that's what a marker of success is speaking like a white man or middle-class white man or whatever if you're in America.
I would say gender is not that important when it comes to standard English.
Unless we're talking about tone, right? So then women are like, get tone policed, even white women. But,
grammar.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Grammar.
But it's also like, I'm not trying to say that she wants to sound white at all, because guess what? Black people sound like her because she's black. Like that's how a black person speaks because Yamiche's black. And it's just like, what more? There's always something more expected.
In this case, it's not really about expectations. He's just trying. This is more of a dog whistle than anything. He's saying she's black. Like, that's all he's saying. He's not actually really making a claim about her language. I mean, he is, but he's just saying she's black. That's it. Because if there were anything that he could pick on, you damn well better believe he would have said them. He would have said the words. Like, if she'd dared to say ain't or something.
Ah.
Not that ain't is only black, but,
Right.
It's non-standard, right. Quote unquote. But, yeah. He didn't,
yeah.
Because there's nothing there for him to actually pick on. So what he was actually literally saying was, she's black.
Which is not a dog whistle. That's just a foghorn, right? That's just saying...
Well, I only say a dog whistle because he doesn't actually say the words. she's black.
You know, I mean, he may not have been able to pinpoint anything specific like ain't or whatever, but I mean, I really believe that he perceived it as ungrammatical because she's black.
You think so? I don't think so. He is a truly disingenuous man.
Yeah?
Yeah. He lies all the time.
Well, that's true. But I do think that there's a point there that there are some people that aren't Tucker Carlson that will hear black people speak and will think it's ungrammatical no matter what. Like, their perceptions are that embedded in racism that their perceptions are going to be off. Just like those studies that we all know about, because we've talked about them on the show before, where if you have a picture of a white woman and an Asian woman and use the same voice, people will say that they understand the white woman better, even though it's exactly the same voice. So I think the same thing's at play here. Maybe not with Tucker, but there will be other people who will have perceptions based on the color of someone's skin.
I 100% believe that most of his listeners will retrospectively say, oh yeah, she was speaking ungrammatically.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
But I don't think that anyone would have thought it just from listening to her.
Right.
Because there's nothing there. Like, really. Like, if it like seeing her face, okay, you can perceive that she's black.
Right.
But even still, she doesn't say anything.
Right.
That would violate any of their rules.
Right. And yet, okay, like I've always said, okay, Trump, the way he speaks is very interesting, but we should not be saying that, like, he doesn't speak English or he's so bad at English, because he's an English speaker. He's good at English, because ultimately, if we say that Trump's speech is bad, it's going to harm minoritized people and marginalized people. But people like Tucker Carlson think the way that Trump speaks is grammatical.
That's interesting. I bet that's not true.
Really?
Because Tucker Carlson is a complete snob. He won't say it out loud, because he can't possibly say anything bad about, dear leader.
Sure. But his listeners...
yeah. For sure his
Yeah.
listeners.
Yeah.
I just think that he is a deeply hypocritical man.
Well, he's something. And the video is so hard to watch because he's like, the way he's laughing, I like his face. I'm like, that is the embodiment of racism. The way he like, it's disgusting.
Yeah, he's a disgusting human being. Yeah.
He's so disgusting.
Almost everything that comes out of his mouth is vile. Every once in a while he says something that you have to agree with, and it sucks.
Right. Well, what is it, like, even
says.
a broken clock is right 2 times a day? I know that Yamiche is amazing, but I don't really know her, like, views about her own language, so I'm not trying to say how she means to sound or means to be perceived. All I'm saying is Tucker Carlson's a fucking asshole. I mean, people have taken it apart. Black linguists have taken it apart on Twitter.
Well, did you see her response?
No. What was her response?
Here's what she said. I know I'm doing something right when Tucker Carlson is threatened by my reporting and making baseless claims about bad grammar. As the great Beyonce said, boy, bye. So she's not bothered.
Oh, of course not. I mean, I shouldn't be bothered by Tucker Carlson, but it's like one of those things where it's like, we just have to keep pointing these things out, like you and I mean, on the show, like, this is what we do. And also, like, since we have certain amounts of privilege, it's maybe people will listen to us.
Maybe we should be pointing it out more on our side of the fence. Because, of course, Tucker Carlson is a racist. He's a known white supremacist.
I will call someone out on my side of the fence right now. So, goddamn Latinx is back in the news. Maybe 2 weeks ago, like right after the election. One of the representatives from Arizona that I actually really respect, Ruben Gallego, tweeted, "Stop saying Latinx." And I was very, very disappointed. The thing with Latinx is there's so many people that aren't in the community that think that they can have an opinion, which I don't get. Like, why are you saying that this should not be used because, the Latino community doesn't use it when you're not part of that community is really weird to me.
Although he is, so.
But Ruben is, yes, so my point here is that Ruben is Latino, and he is not afraid to say it, right? Like, he will talk about Latino issues. And for him to say, don't use Latinx, 1, don't tell people what to use. 2, oh, that's so disappointing. This is someone who is very progressive, so he's being regressive. Unfortunately, I've seen a few other people that I respected, I can't remember their names now, saying, like, in the last couple of days not to use Latinx, and they're in the community. So it was Dave Weigel.
I think it's Weigel, but it could be Weigel. I really don't know.
Dave Weigel, sorry, even though you suck, I want to say your name right. This person is not Latino, but said, how long can the Latinx label survive? It was coined to solve a problem for modern academics, removing gendered language, not Latinos. Is the Democratic Party's political apparatus, led by a Latino, married to a term that Latinos don't use? So, several things wrong with that. We talked about it before. It wasn't created by academics. It was created within the Latinx community. I'm so tired of that argument. And also, I think it was perpetuated by non-friend John McWhorter, because he wrote that Atlantic article and he said that Latinx was formed in the Ivory Tower, and I was so mad because so many people respect Atlantic, that's fine, but then see this by a linguist in the Atlantic and take it seriously. So I would not be surprised if Dave Weigel actually read that article. And I'm just like, how much more harm will this article do? And again, just because John McWhorter is a linguist doesn't mean he has any
he's
right
not
to
part of the community.
To pen an opinion piece on Latinx.
So I want to go back to Ruben Gallego, who is part of the community, and like maybe why this is happening. So right after the election, Democrats freaked the fuck out because they didn't win as many House seats and Senate seats as they thought they would, and it wasn't clear that they were for sure going to win the presidential seat either. And instead of waiting for the results, they just went into panic mode. And some House people did lose their seats, and most of them were, in fact, maybe all of them were more centrist. And so they were like, oh my God, all these quote-unquote woke things are ruining my chances. So there's this internecine fight that's going on in the Democratic Party between more progressive and less progressive people. And I think this is just one of the threads that people are pulling on and trying to place all this blame for a really weird election year, the pandemic, like all kinds of factors went into the fact that Democrats lost some House seats. And to put it all on Latinx is hilariously bad.
Hilariously bad. I think that you're right. It's just so annoying to me because Ruben Gallego is someone I would put in the more progressive.
He's definitely progressive. He likes to build bridges. And so I think he's like, okay, I see what's going on. And he just was like, let's just not even bother with this because it's just upsetting people.
Yeah. I mean, I hate the idea that building bridges means that we have to like marginalize the marginalized even more. I mean, that seems to what happens because then progressives are going to go more toward the center. And when you keep going more and more to the center or to the left, it means that you're dropping off more and more marginalized people. I mean, you think you're compromising on things that don't matter, but these things matter so much. And that's why I wanted to talk about it again, because I said it on Twitter. I would love to never have to tell someone to stop with their hot take on Latinx and just like move on from it and just use Latinx or Latine or, whatever someone wants to use. But people keep saying that they won't use it or that it's white Americans trying to place it on the Latinx community. And all I'm seeing is just like really harmful rhetoric that is ultimately hurting, I think, trans and non-binary and non-gender conforming Latinx people. People keep pointing to the Pew Research Centers. They're like, how many people use Latinx? And it's like 3% or something. And it's just like, for one thing, who cares? Like, how many people are using it? If someone's using it, then someone's using it. And, we should respect that. But that seems to be the thing that keeps coming up over and over again is the percentage of people who use it. But it should be enough that, some people are using it and that we should just respect people when they tell us that that's how they identify or what they want to be referenced as.
Like, you don't have to use it. But if someone else is using it, just let them use it. Let them be. Like, this is the thing. It's just like, do no harm. Like, don't be an asshole. Just let people talk about themselves. Right. They want to talk about themselves. And I guarantee you it had nothing to do with the election results. Zero. Stop it. You don't have to like it. No one says you have to like it. Just stop talking about it. Let it go.
So I'll keep like retweeting or keep saying that Latinx and Latine are great. It's not hurting the Spanish language. That's for sure. It's so frustrating, and ultimately it continues to marginalize the marginalized when we say shit like this.
People have very strong opinions about how language should work, and, we all do. That's fine. Does your opinion really matter? Right? Like, I have all kinds of opinions about all kinds of things, and I'm just like, but does my opinion really matter in this situation? No, it really doesn't.
Right, like, if you're a cis non-Latinx person, what does does your opinion matter in this situation? And for my fellow Latinos and Latinas that are against Latinx, people that identify as Latino or Latina, fucking get over yourself.
You can continue to call your community Latino. Do what you want. Like, it's fine. But other people can talk about their community the way they want to. Give them the amount of respect that you expect for yourself. Bare minimum.
And I get politicians are politicians, and I'm not trying to, like, say that they can do whatever they want. Definitely not. But if some politicians are using Latinx instead to reach out to their communities, what the fuck is wrong with that?
Just scaredy cats. Like, they lose a couple seats, or case more than a couple, but, you know, they lose some seats in the House, and they're like, oh my god, it's the end of time!
I know. Definitively say Latinx did not destroy any House seats. If the word Latinx or Latine bother you in any way, I really think you should stop and investigate why.
And also, if it's really about the Spanish thing, well, then you've got Latine. You've got that option. Just, like, take that then.
You got Latine. Yeah. Yep. It's happening with different things, right? Like, they,
it's the same fight.
Them.
It's the same fight, but I feel like the they-them one is calming down. Because I think it fits into English grammar just 100%, and eventually people are like, oh, I guess you're right. And people just get, like, so fixated on, like, one aspect, and once you convince them, actually, it fits into language, which is fine, they calm down. But this one's not over yet. This one is, like, still churning. And they, them is still churning. I just feel like, in terms of the amount of activity I've seen, they, them has calmed down significantly recently.
Well, it has to with the people that are only using the grammar argument. I mean, if you really don't want to be seen as transphobic, then you're going to need to have a better argument. And really, there is no better argument. If someone wants they, them, that's it. Punto. Final point. That's it. Done. Just respect people's pronouns and their identity markers if it's Latinx. Just be kind.
People are ridiculous.
Wow. People are ridiculous. Well, anyway, you know. People continue to be assholes. Make sure you stop and point it out.
Yeah.
If it's safe to do so.
We'll see y'all in December.
Yes, until next time, stay safe and masked.
Please stay within your actual bubble.
Yes, please.
So yeah, please stay safe. And don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole.
We would like to thank our newest patrons, and thanks especially to those of you who paid for an entire year, which you can do, and you get a 15% discount if you do that. So we would like to thank Douglas R. Ike, Elizabeth Peterson, Anne-Mee Hansen, Lisa Duker, Christine Mank, and Edward Riley. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. The Vocal Fries podcast is produced by me, Carrie Gillen, for Halftone Audio. Theme music by Nick Granum. You can find us on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Vocal Fries Pod. You can email us at vocalfriespod@gmail.com, and our website is vocalfriespod.com.